Hi, everybody. I'm John Granato. Mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. It's the show called The Bench. Hope you can listen to it. That's Josh Jordan. He is the editor of SportsMapHouston.com, and he's also on weekends. Moneyline. He's a co-host of that show. Hey, Michael Brantley has been put retroactively on the IL for the Houston Astros. Given the logjam in the outfield, hey, we're going to find out a little bit of something here. We've already seen Chaz in left, and we're seeing Meyers in center. Meyers homers in that first game, so that's a good sign. He's taken an early lead, and I think there is a good chance that Meyers will be the guy that's playing. But this is when guys are going to, Dusty's going to find out which guys are actually going to be his postseason guys.
He is, and this is the time of year when we talk about baseball, it's all about being hot at the right time, because baseball can be so fluky. So I want to see who's playing really well while Brantley's out and see who really, deserves and earns that job. And like you said, you never know with Dusty if he's just going to run McCormick out there just because. Now you're going to have McCormick out there. You're going to have Meyers out there. Let them play every day. Let them battle it out. See who's playing the best as we get to the end of the season here, because I think that's going to matter. Me personally, I think I'd rather have Jake Meyers out there. I like McCormick, but I really like what I'm seeing from Jake Meyers.
Well, and talk about, flexibility as well. Look at Marwin homers again.
Yeah.
Aledmus Diaz is so good. Aledmus is like, hey, that's my job, Marwin. Hey, you know what? I know that was your job, but it's my job now. So he's got a lot of options right now, which is really good. I'm not sure about pitching, how many options he's got. Greinke just hasn't been good. Now, he was on the COVID, and it was his first start back. But, Josh, this has been happening since the All-Star break.
Yeah, he's sitting with a 4.74 ERA since the All-Star break. It has not been great for Greinke, and we see that he can get by with guile, and he's got all that experience, but I think we do the same thing with the pitching like we're doing with the outfield. I think we should have a pitch off here. All these guys that we're not sure, like we know Fromber and McCullers are going to be in that playoff rotation, but all the other guys, go for it, compete. Whoever's pitching the best as the end of the season is coming to an end. Play those guys, start those guys. That's what I would do. So
interesting right now, the Astros have the lead over the White Sox. It's the 3-game lead now because it's actually 2, but the Astros have the tiebreaker. So this is a time where the Astros really can find out who is going to be. And we know McCullers. Actually, McCullers probably starts game 1 right now.
Yep. But
he is so good on the road this year, and which is the opposite of Lance McCullers his entire career. But he's 7-1 this year with a minuscule ERA under 3 on the road that you might almost want to save him for game 3. If somebody can step up, Fromber starts game 1, or Urquidy or Garcia or whatever. This stretch right here is so big to find out. And usually, especially with a team that's 25 games over 500, you usually know how this is going to lay out. I have no idea right now how this thing's going to lay out for the postseason.
I don't either. Luis Garcia has been so fantastic, but he hadn't been quite as good lately, and they're worried about his innings. It's crazy to think you would even consider taking Zach Greinke out of your starting rotation, but I think age is finally catching up with him. And Urquidy had a great game against the Rangers. I know he does well against the Rangers traditionally, but I went back and looked at his stats in the postseason. He's been very effective in the postseason. I don't think we can just not consider him. So I think you just let these guys play it out, competition, and see what happens.
What about Christian Javier? Is he on your postseason roster?
He would be for me, but I'm the president of the Christian Javier fan club. I'm a little biased. To me, I'm worried if maybe they broke him by taking him out of the starting rotation. But he was so good last year. But I will say this, John, is there's going to be fans out there. The pressure is going to be different this time, through the playoffs. So it's going to be a different set of circumstances. And he struggles to throw strikes. That's scary coming out of the bullpen.
He needs to see Fromber's psychologist is what he needs to throw strikes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because if that dude throws strikes, he's a different guy, but he just hasn't been doing it. It's amazing that he's still where he is with how wild he is. So that's going to be interesting to see. He was such a valuable asset last season in the postseason this year, I don't know if you can trust him to go out there, and if somebody doesn't have a good start, he's out there in the fourth inning. I don't know if you can trust him this year.
No doubt. And Odorizzi's the other wild card. You know, if he turns out to be healthy and he's on this playoff roster, is he a guy that you could bring in the fourth inning if somebody's struggling? We know how poor he is the third time through the lineup. If he's cool with that, we know his issues with the Astros and how they use him. If he's cool with that, he could really help you this postseason.